At one point, I was dating like 5 people. I do not recommend this. That is a lot of
Okay.
goddamn time to and not like super super seriously, but it was
Right.
enough to like, God, what am I thinking?
Please talk more about that. So, 5 of them. How did each relationship work? What was the dynamic with each one? Just go into that. Yeah, it's a whole topic by
Boy,
itself.
I mean, that was a long time ago too, so I feel like it's I didn't try it. I realized that if I were going to do something as pragmatic as like assigning them each a day, a night that they could see me, but one, did happen to fall on a Wednesday night pretty much every week, and one happened to fall on, so that became the running joke that everybody has their night, but that's not how I wanted to structure it. It's just,
Right.
you run out of nights.
Yeah.
And you realize that people realize that you're not going to get something once a week, or you're going to maybe have to deal with once a month. And that is the most difficult part, is really the scheduling. And everybody talks about using a Google Calendar because you have all the different colors for all the different people,
Right.
and you line things up. It's a serious project.
So you did that also.
I've shared a Google Calendar with a lot of different partners over the
All
years,
right.
yes, and still do. It's a rainbow of.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, pretty, and that's interesting. If I enter into a new relationship with somebody, that is kind of one of the first things that I'm like, hey, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna have to share Google Calendar. You realize that's the level of that's a
Right.
threshold of commitment then that you
Wow.
are entering into, because if you want me to care about what you're doing and not trample over your plans,
Right.
you're going to need to know what I'm doing, and vice versa, because so scheduling is a thing. So
If you
I
want
mean
me to care.
that's the thing. If you're dating 5 people, at the time, some of those relationships were not super serious. Like I saw them maybe once a month or something.
Okay.
And it wasn't for very long that I did that, because it was exhausting. Maybe 3-4 months or something. It was just like, yeah, this is nuts.
Were there
and
any
then-
problems with them, like because of? So
Not
many-
really. I mean, that was a pretty loose coupling of like at the time I was dating, kind of at the end of my relationship with who was living here, the one that I kind of first started exploring a lot of stuff with, and that was I was still under the impression that you kind of have to structure some things hierarchically. So if hierarchical sort of poly relationships are where you have a primary partner that you do a lot of. There's usually a more logistical sort of, this is who I share a household with, or this is who I, kind of have to schedule things around because they're
Right,
involved
intertwined.
domestically in my life somehow or whatever, or another partner they had a kid, and their kid's schedule had a lot to do with how
Right.
when date nights could happen and stuff around here, so that was that's a again another very pragmatic reason to call somebody your but in general I try to stay away from the hierarchical models, because I feel like every relationship needs its room to grow and expand in a fluid sort of way, and
Right.
I think that poly hierarchy structure or whatever can be good when you're first starting things out in a poly relationship, because it helps define things a little bit more. It helps kind of people wrap their head around how they fit into your life.
Right.
But it has its problems too, obviously. I mean, if you call somebody primary, then you're kind of by default calling somebody else a secondary, and secondary
Right.
has other connotations that you're maybe not as important, which is not necessarily
Right.
the case. Sometimes
Yeah.
they are more important. Sometimes not. That's terrible. No,
Right.
sometimes no. You basically you don't want. That's the point. You don't want to compare and contrast,
Right.
because that's
because
that's
it,
gonna make-
it suggests higher
Yeah.
or more than or less than.
It
yeah.
suggests that. It doesn't have to. You can get past that semantics, but it's that's hard.
Yeah.
So I like to take relationships on on their own terms, and build them. That's and that's always been a struggle, because other people probably either they want more a definition in those roles, or they want more commitment to, I'm going to see you once a week, or something like that. So.
So that's dealing with 5 at a time.
That was a very brief description of it. I mean, again, it's been a while, so I don't remember the daily thing. But I would try and and I still kind of do this, a week in advance or whatever. I try and talk to various people about what things they would like to do, and if there's events that they'd like to go to with me or whatever, and get those things put at least temporary or tentatively on the Google Calendar and a whole system. Because if you just agree, hey, person X, I'm going to go with person Y to this and that or whatever, somebody's going to have a problem with that, because you didn't check in with me first or whatever. So I came up with this. We kind of came up with this thing in one set of relationships where we'll put things on the calendar with triple question marks, right? And as the plans become more firm and you've checked with more people, you start removing question marks as it becomes more. When you get down to one question mark, it's pretty solid. But when you take the last question mark off, that's in stone.
Oh shit! There's only one question mark there. That's real.
If you have any objections, you better get it before the last question mark goes away. No,
wow,
it's silly.
That's interesting, though.
Well, these are all different little experiments. I've tried and figure out how best to make that communication flow about, because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to make it seem like you're just making unilateral decisions about, what you're going to do with your life. But you kind of have to. I mean, as an individual person, you have to decide, this is what makes me happy. I'm going to do this.
Right, yeah.
And then you have to figure out who you're going to do it with, because that then makes people feel certain ways. And you've got to be sensitive to that. So
what are some things that failed?
What relationships have failed?
Not really, scheduling methods you've been trying.
Scheduling is always a problem. Yeah, it really is,
What didn't work at all? What do you not suggest?
Oh, God. A lot of things, probably.
Well, number one would be not scheduling. Make sure you schedule something.
I mean, but you don't want that to be such a chore. I mean, it's not even so much about the scheduling. It's about the communication about the scheduling. So what doesn't work is not having everybody on board with the scheduling. Again, I suggest the Google Calendar thing because that makes it a little bit easier. It makes everybody kind of help feel like they're on the same page,
right?
And they know what's happening. But it's in general, if people don't feel like they're on the same page, if people don't feel like they can open up to, for instance, your metamors, your partners, other partners, if that's not cohesive, if there's not, that doesn't feel like there's a strong connection there, that personally hasn't worked very well in my life. I know there are a lot of people who try and do the don't ask, don't tell kind of policies, or they try the, I don't really want to know what stuff you're doing with other people. Just schedule things with me, keep me in the loop about our stuff, and I'll try and forget that you even have these others. I like the more what some people call the kitchen table poly, where everybody knows everybody. Everybody can be in the loop as much as they want to be. So it just feels, again, more like what I think most of society needs to get back to, is a more tribal sort of connected, familial understanding of inner workings of everybody's relationship and how we fit together. And so. If I have a partner who's just doesn't really kind of see eye to eye, that's generally not going to be something where it's just not going to work probably well for us. Give
me an example. So, what do you mean?
Well, I've had partners before. Well, I've tried to take on new relationships in the past that didn't work very well because they didn't want to meet my other partners, for instance, and then that's like the very first step, right? That's the tip of the iceberg, and I want to know everybody. I want everybody to know kind of get on that same page. But keeping that open dialogue, between partners, and it can be a lot of work, and some people need a little bit more hand-holding with that than others. It depends on the person. Some people want to be more involved. I don't want to try and force this thing, but I do kind of highly recommend that to partners, that
being involved
with my other and the rest of my little poly network and family. And I think that's done really. That's done some good things for some people. I mean,
right.